Hey, what's up guys and gals? My name is Nineg. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be talking about the Twilight Zone. If you're a fan of the Twilight Zone, check out the links in the description where I have a full playlist to all my Twilight Zone episodes where I go through behind the scenes, rare pieces of information that you'll want to know if you're a fan of the Twilight Zone. But I also cover other television shows, over 30 classic TV shows, and even more classic movies. So check them out. I think you'll enjoy them. Let's get right to it. This banned episode of The Twilight Zone wasn't played for decades after the episode came out. In fact, the episode was banned for 52 years before it was allowed to be played on television. And I'll tell you why, I'll tell you what episode, and all the details. So let's start. This episode is from season 5, episode 31. It's called The Encounter. It aired May 1st, 1964, and it aired that day, and then it pretty much wasn't shown until 2016. Yeah, that's right, 54 years later. Then it started to be shown in reruns, which is crazy that half a century had to go by in order for the episode to get played again. Now I know you all know why. Well, that's because for CBS, this episode became very controversial. People were essentially up in arms about this episode when it came out because of how divisive it really was. There was a critical blowback from fans, people who did like the Twilight Zone, but objectively did not like this episode. Why? Because there was allegedly overt racism as well as revisionist history in it. So what CBS did, they pulled the plug on this episode and they pulled it out of the schedule of syndication and reruns, and it was not broadcast again in any network in the United States. Remember, I've previously talked about how different networks, how different television stations will run certain episodes, some won't, and so forth. But this one wasn't run anywhere across the country until 2016. Although it did air in other countries that were not the United States, which is very interesting unto itself, and it was not removed from streaming services or home video DVD sets. Essentially, people were able to watch it on DVD before it even aired on television, normally in reruns. Now, this episode, The Encounter, triggered audiences as well as reviewer criticism of the episode as antithetical to the series' normal positive treatment of otherwise sensitive social, religious, and racial subject matter. I had to put essentially what critics said and what fans who objected to this episode said. Now, what is this episode essentially about? Well, it takes place in post-World War I Hawaii. Two men of once opposing races, one essentially American white man, as well as a Japanese American man, opposing races. They're stuck in an attic full of war trophies, including a samurai sword waiting to dutifully avenge its slain master. And there's a lot of tension in this episode. There's a lot of battling. There's a lot of tense moments that people did not approve of, but it's interesting that many things in television shows and movies are banned today that it was allowed in 2016 when other things were being banned. So it's very interesting. And the actor George Takei, who is in this episode, of course, later known for his run in the original Star Trek series, he was 4 years old when the Pearl Harbor attack happened, just like the character who plays him. Now, Takei was really, in real life, imprisoned with his family in a United States internment camp after the bombing of Pearl Harbor. Now, he went on to write a Broadway play about the experience, and it's interesting because this makes his story come full circle from the Twilight Zone episode to real life and his real life past. And it's interesting to note how a lot of these actors did have essentially a connection to the historical past and a little bit into the characters that they are playing into the story. And for those who want to know exactly when it was finally rerun in the United States, well, the ones who bravely did it are the people of the Sci-Fi Channel during a complete Twilight Zone marathon, essentially in the new year, January 3rd, 2016. Now, were you able to watch this one when it came out? I mean, were you watching the marathon and then happen to see this episode and think, what is this? I've never seen it before. Or maybe you one of those who actually saw it originally in the 1960s, and then we're surprised to see it again. I'd love to know your thoughts down below. Do you think this episode should have been banned after it originally aired? Do you think it should be shown? I mean, it started to be shown now, or do you think it should be banned again? I'd really love to know your thoughts down in the comments below. We'll see y'all next time. Thanks as always for the constant and amazing support that you show, and don't forget everyone, be hopeful. Thank you so much to my Platinum and Diamond tier patrons, especially David D, Jerry D, Daniel B, Citizen Kane 359, Vito L, Sally N, Russ C, and Beatrice R. If you want to be on this list, make sure to check the links in the description. It's a great way to support the channel. Thank you.